Big Phil has revealed that he's got the backing of the Rangers board, but he doesn't have the backing of Chris Sutton. Welcome back to Fog Football. Chris Sutton always talks in his wee column on a Saturday morning. Not exactly the greatest placement, but here we've bored you enough to death talking about when should he have his thing. But anyway, one of the big questions at Rangers right now is whether or not they can afford to get rid of Philip Clement. But that is looking at it the wrong way. The real question is, can they afford to let him remain in charge? The Ibrox dire financial figures hogged the headlines for a day until offence on the Pittodrie pitch surpassed them. And it does now look like Rangers are past the point of no return with their manager. Look, no one, and I mean no one, likes seeing anyone lose their job. But you've got to wonder how bad it has got to get before someone, anyone at Ibrox, makes a decision. We keep hearing Clement and his players saying they can compete for the title. Right now, it's hard to even see them competing for second. The club is not in great shape off the park right now with no permanent chairman, no chief executive, and no director of football. There's no money either. But those are no excuse to be much served up by Clement and his side. I've actually got some sympathy for the Rangers board. They keep making losses, but it's their own money they are blowing, and they are seemingly willing to keep shoveling it in. There's been so much wasted, though, and not a single bit of progress. They deserve better, as do Rangers fans. You look at where they were a year ago, there was an initial bounce under Clement, but they ran out of steam, and now they have the Belgian Beale in charge. I can't quite believe how off the rails the manager has gone. After his first few months there was positive signs. He secured a trophy and spoke a lot of sense after the nonsense of Michael Beale. They have looked to have a sensible, serious operator in charge. They now have a Belgian wall who's spouting the kind of gibberish that Pedro Casinha came out with. The warning signs were there last year with his morale victory against Celtic, and it's got worse and worse. There was the biggest win in 4 years after beating the mighty Ross County, the shots on goal trophy after getting thumped by Celtic, the hurling the boards at Hampden to celebrate after squeezing past St Johnstone, the can in the Ibrox press room, the constant promise of jam tomorrow. His post-match interview on Sky the other night was the final straw, describing the deserved defeat to Aberdeen as one of the better displays of the season will have fans fuming. We're at the Pedro Dogs and Caravan stage. I don't know what game he was watching. Better, Rangers are atrocious in the first half of a game they needed to win. Clement also said at the start of the season would see the real Rangers in October. Well, it's nearly November, and if anything, they are getting worse. The decisions on the pitch have been as bad as the comments off it. I still can't fathom why he was handed a contract extension in the summer. There was absolutely no need. It didn't look earned at that stage. It was madness. But the move put him in a position of power, and whether he spent a lot or not, he still had the major say over signings. The recruitment has simply not been good enough. Even the ones who look half decent are not getting used properly. Look at Needham Bajrami. He was the only player who looked like he might be able to do something against the Dons. So why does Clement do? He hooks him off? It was just bizarre. It's been the same all season, with players playing out of position, bombed out the squad, then brought back in, and asked to bail him out. He signs Robin Proper to add leadership and experience, but he doesn't look able to cope with the Scottish game. It still looks like Liam Balogun is the best centre back at the club, and he must be pushing 50. James Tavernier doesn't look happy. Dessers lacks composure. He doesn't exactly get a lot of help. For 4 million plus, Diamondi should be dominating games, yet I still don't know what he brings. Connor Barron is a good little player, but he should be one for the here and now at a club like Rangers. I know they are trying to slash the wage bill, but it looks crazy getting short of experience like Lundstrom and Goldson for pennies and spending money on replacements that are nowhere up to the same standard. That's not saving Dosh. It's a false economy of anything. Yet for all the financial problems, it still goes back to the manager doing better with what he's got, which is a massive wage budget. There just doesn't seem to be any sort of cohesion and thought process or pattern to the play or the bigger picture. It's alright asking people to keep the faith, but they need to see at least some sign of progress. There's none at Rangers. A record of 2 wins in their last 10 away games is embarrassing. And while the Malmo win was decent, when was the last time they won a big domestic game? The League Cup final almost a year ago? It's not good enough. When I first came to Scotland as a Celtic player, I didn't like Rangers. but I sure as hell respected them. They were a strong team with quality players. In the past, they had stars like Laudrup, Gascoigne, Terry Butcher, Trevor Stephen, Ali McCoys. Fans for that era must look at this current shambles and struggle to even recognise their club. I certainly don't. The way they are going on and off the pitch, they are in danger of becoming an irrelevance. There are huge questions right now about Rangers from top to bottom, but the one about the manager has an easy answer, even if those in charge don't want to see it. End of article. End of quote. I think Sutton's hit the nail on the head there. Rangers are done. And I'm ending this vid. I'm done. No wonder you sound depressed reading that, man. All truth and not one fucking lie.